Embrace others for their differences, for that makes you whole. Season 7, Episode 1 of The Clone Wars is out, The Bad Batch. Some folks have watched the unfinished version of this episode way back, however, I am not one of those people. This was a fresh experience for me. And right off the bat, 3 things impressed the hell out of me concerning The Bad Batch, and most likely this entire season going forward. First, while it looks exactly like how the Clone Wars should look, the detail of this animated world is unbelievable. With today's rendering capabilities and the speed of computers, it makes sense that now in 2020, this show would look highly refined, but it still maintains that classic Clone Wars aesthetic. It's a seamless transition between seasons even though it's been years. Second, the directing in this show, specifically the way the camera moves around set pieces, is really well done. There are a lot of sweeping takes in this episode, circling around tense battles. Basically, it felt very cinematic, and it felt laid out like a big budget film. And lastly, the score of this episode felt fresh and a bit more to my taste. It still has that classic Clone Wars quality to it, and I don't think the old scores are bad, but Season 7 seems to have taken a page out of The Mandalorian's playbook with some really interesting uses of synths for these darker undertones throughout the episode. So what was this episode about? We kick things off with Mace and Anakin reflecting over why they keep losing against the Separatists on Anaxis. Commander Cody and Captain Rex interrupt their discussion with a theory as to why they keep losing, stating that it's analytics. The more they use a tactic, the less effective it becomes. The Separatists are crunching data to win the war, and now they need to figure out how they're doing this. The extra layer on all of this is the question on if Echo, presumed dead, is the one who is providing the intel. Only Rex has this question on his mind, however. He even keeps that information from Anakin Skywalker, but tells Commander Cody of what he thinks might be going on. This was a pretty somber scene watching him reflect on those who have died, leaving him alone as a survivor. But Rex thinks that Echo is alive, and the reason being is that both he and Echo drew up all of these strategies that they now use. In the way that the droid army and Separatists counter his tactics seem to have Echo's handwriting all over it. Because of this, they need to attack using spontaneity, resulting in the arrival of the Bad Batch, officially called Clone Force 99, which I think everyone would know is named after 99 himself. God bless that clone soul. These guys kind of remind me of the Ninja Turtles. Hunter is Leonardo and Rambo combined. Wrecker is Mikey, but also the Hulk. Tech is Donatello, and Crosshair is Raphael, a moody, brooding dude. I loved this group of clones. Absolutely loved them, especially Hunter and Wrecker. Now, ultimately, this being the Clone Wars, I figured that the story was going to be really straightforward, and it was. The Bad Batch needs to help infiltrate a cyber center, a brain for the Separatist campaign. They want to retrieve whatever it is that's feeding the algorithm to the droid army so that they can gain the upper hand in this never-ending war. And from here, it's all about the two clone groups overcoming their differences, realizing that working together, they can accomplish a lot more. It's the message of the opening to a T. But what happens along the way is really fun to watch, and a lot of it has some interesting implications. First, we see Wrecker demonstrate his mutation, super strength, when he lifts the shuttle off Commander Cody, who was taken down when the ship crashed. And when he walked back with Cody over his shoulder and yelled boom right before the shuttle exploded, I audibly laughed. It was a great scene, and unfortunately, Commander Cody was down for the count for the remainder of the episode. It was just Rex and Jesse and then the Bad Batch at this point. We also see some of the Bad Batch battle tactics in use, and I'm not gonna lie, they were so fun to watch on screen. Clone Force 99 takes out an entire legion of battle droids like it was nothing. It's incredible. And because of this, it alerts the Separatists, and we finally see Admiral Trench arrive in the episode, but in hologram form. The droids report the infiltration. They let Trench know that there was no Jedi present, only clones. And he tells the droids to report back if anything else happened. One of the best action scenes of this episode is the taking of an outpost near the cyber center. Rex wants to try the Bad Batch method of taking the droids head on to take the outpost. And here, we start to see the two groups begin to work together. The entire sequence of the shootout inside the outpost was fantastic, and again, circling back to my original 3 points about this episode, the direction of this action was incredible. Finally, the cyber center is taken after Trench alerts the security droids that an attack is coming. Again, from the animation to the direction, this is all very exciting to watch unfold. We get a very long tracking shot of the Bad Batch taking care of business inside of the cyber center until there are no droids left. Straight up, one of the best scenes of Star Wars period, in a Clone Wars episode. Near the end of this incursion, super battle droids finally drop in to really up the stakes of the battle, and Rex and Tech crack the algorithm, revealing a live signal. As they hack further into what this is, they realize it's a human voice, but sort of like slowed way down. Rex's greatest fear is being realized at this moment. We finally hear what that voice is saying, and it's CT-1409, Echo's number. As they escape, we transition back to Trench being given information that the clones made a connection with Skakel Minor, and this greatly alarms Trench. And again, the music you hear was fantastic. This little synth burst of dark energy, such a good use of music in this episode. Now, one can only assume that Trench is now going to need to rethink his entire strategy. After this, Rex confides in Tech what the number he heard on the live signal meant, that it's Echo. And that's really it for the episode. And like I said, the story was really straightforward and simple, but simple isn't bad. This was a great start to the final season of the Clone Wars. It was action-packed, with gorgeous animation, and if you're like me, it feels good to look forward to something on a Friday morning like this again after all this time. So what did you think of episode 1 of season 7? Leave a comment down below. I will be covering each episode with brief reviews and finally a final season review at the end. So if you're not already, please make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell to stay notified for when I upload. May the Force be with you, and AT-AT is signing off.